Mr. Hantaï, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. You just played a beautiful piece by Scarlatti. I want to know more about this composer and his work. But first, a bit about you yourself and the harpsichord, or how we say in Dutch, klavecimbal. Do you remember the first time you saw the harpsichord?
No.
No? Or maybe
No.
the first time you heard it or saw somebody play it?
I don't remember.
No?
Because I must say, I don't play harpsichord because of the sound of the harpsichord. I learned to love it.
That's interesting.
But it's really for the repertoire, for the music. I got a passion for music of Bach when I was, 9 or 10. And this is the instrument he used for his main works, the most important works, musical works, I would say, of the history of humanity. It's the Goldberg variations, Art of the Fugue, Well-Tempered Clavier, everything was written for these things.
I see. So it started with your love for Bach.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So when you were studying in France, I can imagine you had a great variety in choice of teachers, but you didn't choose a teacher in France. You chose Gustav Leonhardt in Amsterdam.
The most important player for this instrument was here, in the Netherlands, Gustav Leonhardt. From very far, he was a huge musician, and it was clear that, yes, for many people, that they had to visit him from
all over the world.
The entire world, absolutely.
How old were you when you came to Holland to study with him?
Well, at these lessons, I was 18. But
Young.
I met him earlier and had some lessons and master classes when I was 15, I think. And it wasn't usual that a young boy was interested in harpsichord at that time. I didn't know other boys of my age at that time.
Did he teach you Scarlatti?
Yes.
Did he introduce you also to Scarlatti, or you knew Scarlatti before?
Because I used to play Scarlatti before, yes, absolutely. But his lessons on Scarlatti were very important because in a few minutes he explained very well what is so systematic and so particular in Scarlatti works. And I never heard before that. And
in a few minutes he could do that?
Yes, absolutely.
And if you would have to tell me that, can you...
Well, it's a bit complicated in a few minutes for me, but well, mainly Scarlatti is such a particular composer. He has his own
style,
rules and laws, very different from the people of that period. In that period,
the period of Bach and Handel.
Yes, Baroque music, Baroque time. There were some elements who unified the music in Europe. A different style, but some elements. The dance was very important, and the dance was French mostly. Also, Bach learned to dance with a French master. Everybody was composing on French dance. Also, church music by Bach is dance music. You cannot dance on it, but it's written on this, on the rhythm of the dance. And Scarlatti is different. At some point in his life, everything changed for him. When he left Italy, because he was an Italian composer, but he was quite conventional until he left Italy. He was 34, I think. Invited in Portugal by the King of Portugal to be the master of harpsichord of his daughter, who 10 years later became the queen, Maria Barbara, the queen of Spain.
Wow.
So he had to follow and to move with her. He was her teacher for the rest of his life. And then he composed only sonatas, but then he learned many things of the atmosphere of Spain.
I
So
see.
there's a real changement in his life at this moment. He found his own style.
Can you give us another example of elements that were typical for him to incorporate in his music?
Yes, because what I told you about what is so specific, the dance, the Spanish culture, is you can hear that very clearly. But in fact, he's not the only composer who did that. Many Bartók, Telemann used the popular music in their works.
And can you let me hear how that sounds?
Yes, for example, you use a lot of the guitar, and it's kind of a chord which we call acciaccatura. There is one note which is not in the harmony. So like things like that. Use a lot. But what is so special with him, and you don't find in other Spanish composers also, is the fact that he's repeating all the time. He repeats his ideas, like, for example, this. And he does all the time.
All the time.
In the work. 2 times, 3 times, and then in the second part of the work, the sonata, he was only 2 and 3 in the first part.
Yeah.
It's something very special. If somebody would repeat everything 2 or 3 times in a conversation, you would say he's completely mad.
Yeah.
But he does in the way which is very poetic, but untypical for this period, because in this period, repetition is a rhetoric element.
Yes.
You insist on something, so you repeat, or you make an effect of echo.
Yeah.
But
And that was really, really Scarlatti.
Yes, but if you hear, for example, some bells, ding dong, ding dong, ding, you won't say you repeat it.
No.
It's just a prolongation of a nice sonority, and that's why he does all the time, like. So it's really bells for me. This, or for example. And Scarlatti is completely different. He's going to impressionism, in fact.
Yeah.
Just the color, the beauty of the repetition.
How many of the sonatas did you record so far? I mean, you have 5 albums.
So it's around 80, 100, well, 100 or a bit less.
Are you going to record them all?
No.
No?
I don't have time.
You don't have time for that?
But, well, it's really this question about the complete works. I don't really understand, because it's quite modern concept, and I think it's a quite commercial concept. Never happened in the, I don't know, in the 50s, in the 60s. And then now we always have complete works, and I don't know what to do with this big block of records if you don't choose. And also I think a performer, we say interprète in French, has to choose.
Is that what you do when you do your live concerts?
Yes.
On the spot, you choose what you're going to play?
Yes, you choose what you feel you can play well, but you choose also the music you have. You feel well with the piece, and sometimes a piece of music doesn't want you. And maybe you wait 10 years and it will be better. So it's a question of choice, what you want to show the listener, to the listener.
What would you choose if I would ask you to play now? Which one?
Which one?
Yes.
Now?
Which piece wants you?
So let's say that maybe one of the most beautiful.
Which one is that?
Is 208. 208. It's quite famous one.
Yes.
So there is a catalogue, a modern catalogue. Scarlatti didn't know the numbers of the catalogue because it's from the 20th century. So when he was playing, he was just playing for people like this, one sonata or the other. That's exactly what I try to do in concerts.
Right at the spot.
Because I hate when concerts are completely planned.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, but you have the luxury that you can choose.
Yes, I'm very happy.
And let's listen to 208.
208.
It was a pleasure to have you here,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Pierre Hantaï, and thank you for introducing us to Scarlatti.
Thank you.